Hey guys, we're doing a special type of review today. Instead of reviewing a fighting game, we're going to review some actual hardware, because as every person knows, you need a good controller to play a fighting game with, so you don't screw up your commands when you're trying to do your Shinku Hadokens against some scrub who's spamming. Now, the controller we're going to be reviewing is the one I actually use, and it's my newest arcade stick. It's the Hori Real Arcade Pro Model VXSA. It's a stick by Hori, in case you couldn't tell. Now, it's for the Xbox 360. However, anybody who has a 360 stick or a PS3 stick, most of them that have a USB cable, like this one, can plug it into a computer and use it as a controller on your PC as well, which is really awesome if you're trying to play some games on your computer when you need the actual arcade stick, especially if you're emulating, because using keys for fighting games is a bitch! Now, let's go ahead and get the actual stick. The design is pretty neat. It's fairly well sized, good for playing on a lap, sitting down on a desk. It's very well rounded. Alright, you've got your headphone jack for Xbox Live so you can talk smack to people when they keep spamming Lariat. Now, the weird thing about the design, though, is it's not full board. It's got edges right here, which, I mean, that's not really a big deal, honestly. I don't know why they designed it that way, but it works. Let's get to the actual buttons. You see, you've got 8 buttons. Now, what's weird is instead of the usual lineup we see on Mad Cat sticks, they arranged these buttons in a different order, as well as these ones. Now, I can imagine this is probably better for a Neo Geo styled game, but you can still do it on other games. Just set the controls different, because you can still do Street Fighter where you have, you know, light, medium, heavy, etc, etc. Or you can do Marvel style, which is, you know, like this. You just have to change settings. And sorry, that was my cat. This is the one, oh, there's my cats. These are the ones that play the actual games for my fight clips on this channel. Well, not really, but it'd be fucking awesome if I had a cat that played King of Fighters with me. Now you're gonna have to move. As to the actual buttons and how they feel, these use Japanese-styled Sanwa Denshi feeling parts. I don't know if they're authentic Sanwa, but they definitely feel nice. Square restrictor plate, which is really good for Street Fighter games and other 2D fighters. The stick is it's not very loud, which is not a bad thing, really a bad thing. It clicks to know you're responding, it's responding. It's very smooth, very easy to use. And these buttons, they're like typical Sanwa buttons, very soft and responsive. And as anybody who plays fighting games knows, Sanwa buttons are like sex to your fingertips when you're trying to play fighting games. Very responsive. And you got the start button over here, which is a little weird, but it's not a big deal. Honestly, it makes access to it easier rather than having to reach up here. And up here you have, you know, your Xbox button, your back button, and your turbo buttons in case you can't link combos because you suck so much. You got your USB cable like I showed you earlier. Has a little port in the back for storage. And there you go. Now, looks enough can't be much to describe the actual stick. So, like any good hardware review, we need to test this in action. So what are we gonna do? Street Fighter, of course. What else would I use? Now, this is Street Fighter 4, and this is the vanilla version. This isn't Super Street Fighter 4, so don't give me shit about it. Also, I'm not very good at Street Fighter 4, so don't expect some really sophisticated 20-hit combos or whatnot. Anyways, this is just to test out the stick. Feels nice with movements. Just do some basic movements. Commands come out pretty nice. It's relatively easy to play with any style. The only thing that's really hard to adapt to with a stick, as anybody knows, is probably the DP. That's the hardest part. But for games like this, it feels really comfortable. It's very responsive. And I failed to focus attack, dash cancel, or whatever. It's no big deal. It's very responsive. You hit 2 buttons, you'll get the 2-button input. I've had trouble with that with some other arcade sticks I've used in the past. But yeah, it feels very comfortable. It's very easy to use. It's extremely responsive. All my moves that I'm trying to do are coming out perfectly fine. Except for that was just my fault. I just have trouble linking this shit. Feels nice, works very good. You can also, if you're not used to hitting can't hit 3 buttons at once, you can actually shortcut from controls the 3 punches and 3 kicks onto the 7th and 8th buttons on the side if you really feel like it. When I was playing with the Xbox 360 controller, I had a lot of trouble with the charge commands. With the stick, it's a lot easier. It's the same with any character though I played with them, having a lot easier time doing some of the commands. They come out a lot easier, and I know when I'm hitting diagonal and not going straight to another quarter circle forward. I can do a lot of the special moves easier. Let's see, this one, Guile's super combo is a lot easier on the stick. His target combo is a lot easier. This fucking weird-ass kick, which is totally useless, is easier. Anything about this is a lot easier. It's a very responsive controller. It's better, it beats having to use bumpers and all the other Xbox 360 buttons. They're really a pain in the ass to deal with, especially the D-pad. I can't play with that goddamn thing. Yep, so you can do a lot of things easier. I like this stick, it's very good. I've played this with pretty much every fighting game I have on the 360, or ever owned. Played this with, this isn't as good to use for games like Virtua Fighter. I feel a lot less it's not as, I don't know, it just feels weird with 3D fighters. I would suggest more of another type of stick for that, but I've played Mortal Kombat with this, I've played MK vs. DC with this, Street Fighter, Marvel with it. They all work really well with this stick. Anyways, so this is a relatively cheap stick, considering how some of the higher quality sticks cost. It's only about $150. So it's definitely, if you want to invest in a good stick, I would suggest this one. Whether you're about a beginning or intermediate, it's really a good stick to use.